My topic is all about process-oriented performance-based assessment and the process-oriented learning competencies. But before we go to the main topic, let's define first what is the process-oriented learning and the performance-based assessment is. So the process-oriented learning means that instead of teaching facts or the lesson itself or the way to do something, that kind of activity, the teacher will act more like facilitators, scaffolding the student's process of coming up with the ideas and thinking about the process. So here, the teacher only facilitates or guide her students while the student doing something or doing their assigned task. So performance-based assessment measures students' ability to apply those skills and knowledge learned from a unit or units of study. Now let's proceed on the process-oriented performance-based assessment. It concerned and evaluates the actual task performance rather than the output of an activity. So it does not emphasize on the product or output of the students after doing the activity. This assessment aims to know what process a person or a student undergoes when or in a given task. So, the process-oriented performance-based assessment is simply focusing on the process or the journey of the student from the start of the activity or task until the end of it. What happens in the process from start to finish is the most important when it comes in this kind of assessment. That is the process-oriented performance-based assessment. We all know that learning is a complex process. It entails not only what the student know, but also what they do or what they can do with that knowledge that they have. So as a future teacher, we need to master or to know this kind of assessment. And now, let's go on to the process-oriented learning competencies. What is learning competencies? Learning competencies are defined as a group or clusters of skills and abilities needed to achieve in the particular task. It is also a general statement that describes the use of desired knowledge, skills, behavior, and abilities. And it is also the main ideas or skills you expected from the student to master it or the goals that we expected at the end of a task. So to be able to know if the student already know or achieve that learning competencies that a particular task has, and for able to improve that outcomes as a future teacher, we need to know what or we need to know about what student experience along the way doing that performance task or activity. About what curricular is, we need to know that, and also what best strategy in teaching are the right one to use, and what kind of students effort they have to lead to that particular task or to have or to achieve that needed outcomes at the end of the activity. So in the process-oriented learning competencies, assessment and process-oriented performance-based assessment has an important role or part in the learning of the students because assessment can help the teacher to understand which student learn best under what conditions, which such as the knowledge comes, the capacity to improve the whole of their learning. So, if that, the teacher will know what assessment is the right one to use to achieve a particular learning competencies. Because we have different assessment that we can use in teaching and to achieve that particular learning outcomes or learning competencies, like pre-assessment or a diagnostic test, formative assessment, and summative assessment through the use of sometimes multiple choice, true or false, or even essay or something that a child or a learners can apply her or his knowledge about the topic. And also the process-oriented performance-based assessment is also has a big part or importance in the process-oriented learning competencies because it concerned with the actual task performance rather than the output or product of the activity. So in this case, the teacher can do an activity or performance activity, and through this process the teacher will see or know if the learning competencies is being achieved during the activity or performance until the end of that activity. So that's all my topic about process oriented performance based assessment and the process oriented learning competencies. Thank you.